Hello, welcome to the Barbecue Talk Show. Today we have a special guest presenter in because Matt's off doing some more work. He must be so rich now. Unbelievable. We have Charlie from Pickles Barbecue. Thank you for joining us in.
People, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for helping out, Charlie. Much appreciated, mate. You're a good guy. And yeah, cheers, dude. Yeah, I'll get a beer. There we go. Let's get it started on the right note. Cheers, brother.
Cheers to you.
Rocking the cause today, which is unusual for me. I'm more of an ale guy, but it's been warm over here in the UK, so I thought I'd have a nice cold lager for a change instead of ale or gin. I might try some gin out later on. I'm not saying I won't, but we cross that bridge when we get to it. So coming up on tonight's show, we've got Marcus Bawdon. He's here to tell us all about his new book, his new HQ for his BBQ School, and all of his social media, plus a good bit of fun and chat and the odd beer or two as well. First, a full word from our show supporters, the Rusty Barbecue Company. They bring you an exclusive 10% discount on all of their products. Meter will give you a 15% discount worldwide on all of their products. And our newest supporter, the Globe Baltic Barbecue Company, we've teamed up with them and they give you 10% off their quality birchwood charcoal. Plus, also, we have 10% off the Dusty Bar, who make custom bespoke cutting boards and shack signs. Please find them all on our website. Head over there and save yourself a little bit of money on some good quality products that we believe in, which we promote. So they're all worth a punt, I'd say. Also, if you can rate and review our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you find it, that would be fantastic. Just try and push up the ratings a little bit. We're really starting to gain a little bit of momentum now, and your support would be muchly appreciated. So head over there, give us a review, like us even, or thumbs up, or whatever you do on whatever platforms you're listening on. Your support would be greatly appreciated. So then, Charlie, what we're going to do, you're going to be sitting down. We're going to be talking to a barbecue legend, Marcus from Country Wood Smoke. He has a massive UK following. I think there's last time I checked, there's about 32,000 people in his Facebook group, which he offers support and advice to. Plus, as well, he's opened the barbecue school. So he's in for a very interesting and informative chat. He's got an outstanding attitude to outside cooking. So let's welcome in. Ready for a chat, Charlie?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Right, here's the man himself. Hey, there we go. Hi, Marcus. How you doing?
Oh, hi guys. How you
Welcome
doing?
along to the barbecue talk show.
My internet just went weird when you were blowing smoke up my arse. So
he said a bunch of bad things about you until it completely.
I know. No, it just went weird. And hopefully it's all right. But I've come out to the barbecue school because it's better internet here. But yeah, good to meet you guys, or good to see you guys.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a chat off air, and we was nearly late. Hopefully we weren't too late, because Facebook doesn't like that. I'm sure Matt will tell me. So we got Daniel White in the chat, Smokey Joe in the chat, Steve Dutchy Cooking in the chat, Tom's in the chat. Who else we got up there? Lots of people. Elliot. Right, yeah. So let's get this show on the road. So, Marcus, if you could tell us what the inspiration was for you to write your new book, Skewered. Hello?
Excuse me.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. It's just gone weird again, but I don't know why, but it shouldn't do because I've got great signal here. But
oh man, this is back. The barbecue. I'll tell you what, the last 3 shows has been a nightmare. My audio played up, someone else's audio played up, but it's all right. We get through it. It's all fine.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, we'll drink to that anyway. It's got to be good. Cheers, guys. Yeah. So, what was the inspiration for your new book, Skewered, Marcus? How did you get to that destination?
So Food and Fire did really good. My first book did really good, and the publisher came back to me and said, we'd like you to do another book. Have you got any ideas? And I had a few good ideas, but it started sort of nagging at me that what the most popular way people cook over fire in the world is with skewers. And you look at like the Far East, the Middle East, the kebabs, so many places they cook on skewers, and it's as much as all lovely American barbecue, Argentine barbecue is amazing, actually people are cooking on skewers. And in the UK, people tend to jump from cooking sausages and burgers to wanting to cook ribs and brisket straight away. I did that, and now I did that, and I've sort of gone past that a little bit. I still love those things, but trying other different ways of cooking, and I love cooking on skewers. It's great. And there weren't any other books. There was very little about skewer cooking in the UK, so I felt that was a really big opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is absolutely outstanding, and so we had as I said, we was having a little chat off air about it, and it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, mate.
How long did it take you to come up with the recipe ideas for this one? Then, it's obviously I remember this is your third time on. So we were talking back in October, I think you come on, and you were sort of like feverishly developing recipes away. So
yeah,
it's been out.
It was a good 2 months solid of coming up with recipes, people think you just do recipes and write them down, and you don't. It's testing, tinkering with them, getting it right. I've got quite efficient at it though. I mean, skewers are quite straightforward, really. There's no particularly unusual techniques. You put some meat on a stick and then on the grill. But the challenge was doing that in a way that was interesting for everyone. So rather than just say put meat on a stick and grill it till it's done, I had to think of different ways of doing it and coming across with that. So I mean, the way I've set it up is per continent, so North America, South America, Middle East, so on. And that I wanted to take people on a journey. So it's been a crappy year for a lot of people, and they haven't been able to travel. So I love traveling. I'm very fortunate that I've done a lot of traveling, and a lot of my memories of places are linked with the food, and a lot of those food memories are on skewers, like little street food skewers and stuff. So there's a lot of memories for me. I wanted to give people a little journey that they could go on in their back gardens, cooking some food that might remind them of their travels, and let people do that in a way that's really gonna make them feel good about things and good about cooking, and a little positive spin on life. A memory maybe of a trip, a flavour, and the recipes I've gone for, they're not necessarily authentic. They're not, they're my little twists on it. I've not gone out and said, yeah, this is your authentic yakitori skewer. I've done my little twist and take on it, and that's how I like to do things, and I like to take people on a journey with it as well. So that was kind of the inspiration and the plan.
You've certainly done a good job on that, I must admit. All of the recipes, they look as I said, they look slightly. She said, "I don't want to keep blowing smoke up your ass," but it's a really nice, well put together book. You can see all of the recipes are well thought out, and they look extremely tasty. I will be making some this weekend, that's for sure.
Speaking of the recipes, is there anything you thought was like, hey, this is gonna be like an interesting idea that you've just tossed out completely and said that is never going to work, versus something that you have to tweak and manage in order to get it to where you want it?
So not really. I mean, I kind of got a good handle on flavors and what works together, you know, like Middle Eastern lamb and, you know, the spices for that. I did try a couple of things that just didn't work. One was I wanted to put chickens on cross skewers like that, like asado style. And it was right at the end. And I had this idea and I kept putting it off. And I was thinking how I was going to do it. And for me, it didn't quite work out how I wanted it. And I tried it in a few different ways and I binned it. And I went for the mackerel on the skewers. This one, the Far Eastern mackerel skewers, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one where you're cooking it in like a sandpit thing?
Yeah, that's it. That was it. That one, and that was superb. So I'm kind of glad.
So on the other side, who do you test your recipes against? Like who are your flavor tasters?
My family. If it doesn't work with my family, it doesn't get in. I mean, you know, some of the stuff, the spicy stuff, you know, I tried it on a few friends and stuff because my kids don't like too spicy, but you know, they're my main recipe testers, and I got a pretty good handle, I think. Now I've been doing what I do for sort of 10, 12 years, and I think I've got a pretty good handle on what works. You know, as with anything cooking, it might not fit everyone's taste, but there's something in there for every, you know, every recipe might not, you know, somebody might not like fish, and if they cook it, they're still gonna not like fish necessarily. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there's something in there for everyone. You know, there's veggies, meat, fish, spicy, not spicy, smoky, not smoky. So, you know, there's a fair few recipes that most people like, I think, in there. You know, I try not to do anything too out there. So I like to do a few things that are out there, but nothing too much. So I like to challenge people a little bit with flavors and have fun with their taste buds. And quite often the simple things are the best as well. I mean, I do one, it's like sausage meat on a skewer, and then I dip it in like pork cracklings, like crispy pork cracklings. So you get a crunchy outside and then the soft sausage meat, and then dip it in some nice spicy sauce. And that was because I had some sausage meat and some pork cracklings handy, and I thought, I wonder, and just playing with it, and I was like, oh wow, that's good, that's going in.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. So what is on that measure then? So what was your favourite cook so far out of the book then? If you could pick just one, what would that be?
So let's have a look. I've got a good idea what it is. I'm just going to find it.
Please tell me it's the lamb heart and kidney.
Yeah, the lamb heart and kidneys was good. That was really good. Probably my favourite, if I can find it. Why can you never find things even in your own book when you're doing it? Was this one.
Oh,
that
okay.
was so that's pork belly and miso skewers, and that is a friend of mine gave me that recipe. He's a Japanese chef in Aberdeen. When I was working in Aberdeen, he would probably for about 15 years I used to go to his restaurant, and he had a Japanese grill house in Aberdeen. Okay. And I loved this. This was always one of my go-to things that he used to cook. This lovely pork belly, and it's a 2-day process. So you have to braise it in an amazing stock with all sorts in it. You know, like soy sauce, sake, mirin, seaweed, ginger. So you braise it in that until it's like soft, and then you press it, and then you cube up the pork, and then you grill it, and then finish it off with a nice miso mustard sauce. And whenever I used to go into his restaurant, this was my favorite. You know, I used to order 2 or 3 of these, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's become a victim of the lockdown, and he's shut his restaurant, which is, to me, is gutting. But he saw that I was writing a book about skewers, and he contacted me and said, look, I know this is a particular favourite of yours. Would you like to include it in your book? And I said, well, I'm absolutely honoured, you know. So I've given him a really good shout out in there. He was very fussy with me. He said, I've done pretty good, but he would have liked to have seen more. He's one of these, and it's got to be precise. He said I did pretty good, but he could have taught me to do it even better. But it was delicious. It was the flavour was there, but I could have just pressed it a little bit more and pressed it for a little bit longer. He said so.
Well, it just goes to show you know, the poor guy's restaurant shut down, but his recipe lives on through your book. So that's not a bad thing, really, is it? You know, obviously it's a shame the restaurant went down, but there it is now, published forever. So cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that one's particularly fond of mine. The other one is the one my daughter did, the marshmallow head skewers. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
North America. So I'm sure you don't want to go political, but she said that one looked like Donald Trump.
So you mentioned you travel a lot. Where are your favorite countries to visit as far as the food goes, and what countries do you want to visit that you haven't been to yet as far as food goes? Maybe Turkey, maybe. So
I love Turkey. Turkey's great. I love like Spain. I really want to go to northern Spain. I've only ever been to southern Spain. Portugal's pretty good for sort of skewered fish over, you know, you skewer it and you cook it next to the coals. India was wonderful. Southern India, Kerala was amazing. Tandoor style seafood was beautiful. Thailand, pretty amazing. You know, whole fish just skewered and cooked over the coals. Yeah, I really want to go to Argentina. That's my particular where I want to go. That's my Mecca. That feels the closest to how my food is and how I cook and my taste profiles. I always go back to, you know, chimichurri. I always go back to good beef, good lamb. And Argentina feels like my, you know, like I love American smoked barbecue, smoked, you know, ribs and brisket and all that. But my taste is Argentinian food, and I'd love to go there.
So you want to ride with the gauchos and be out on a plane or something like that, and cook up some fresh beef.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be up there on my list for me.
I agree. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, they've got something right. You know, they've not got everything right, but they've got a lot of things right over there. And the flavour profiles for me, you know, I'm quite happy. Nice steak, some good chimichurri, and a bottle of Malbec, and that's me in my happy place, really.
Can't really argue with that. Fine Argentinian beef and a good bottle of wine. You can't really go far wrong.
Yeah.
So we got what was I going to say? So, you know, we've sort of covered difficult recipes. We can tick that one off the list because we can skip along on that. So there's a couple of skewers that stick in my mind. You've got there. The gnocchi ones, particular, I really like the look of, and I said I'll probably be cooking some this weekend for my family who come over on Sunday. I'm going to give them a go. How did that pop into your mind to put gnocchi on a barbecue? What made you think of doing that?
I don't know. I had a pack of gnocchi and I thought shove them on skewers. A little bit of I think I used nice oil. You can and then get them nice and crispy, because I do like I do them as like little mini roasties in a baking pan, and they go all crispy like a little mini roasty, and my kids love them as a little thing. And I thought, oh, do that on the barbecue, because you can do anything on the barbecue. So I popped them on cocktail sticks, a little bit of oil, grilled them off until they started to go crispy, and then a little bit of Parmesan, finished off with a bit of truffle oil. But like you said, you're not a particular fan of truffle, are you, Ryan? So A little bit of something spicy, like you said, sriracha mayo or something to dip it in. That'd work well. So yeah, I don't know. These things just pop. I don't know where they come from, but
it's a cool idea. You know, I would have never thought of putting that on a barbecue, but I'm really interested and keen to see how it works. As I said, I'll be doing it at the weekend, Sunday, or maybe even tomorrow. It's going to be nice. I'm going to be in the garden. That'd be a nice.
Let me know how you want. Not too hot, just a nice sort of moderate heat, so that they don't flare up and burn with the oil in them, but they just sort of crisp up a little bit. So moderate heat, you know, so you can hold your hand over it for a good 4 or 5 seconds. That kind of heat.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get some photos up. I'll tag you and post them, and you see how I get on. Hopefully they'll be good.
So I mean, to get back to the writing, I got a bunch of questions behind that. So you're a chatty dude, and so you're kind of an extrovert, maybe one might say. So what do you find the challenge like between switching gears, between being out there and like literally sitting down with yourself and writing? Staring at a computer or staring at like I don't know if you write on paper as people used to do.
I'm all. Yeah, so that's a really good question. I mean, I am I'm not an introvert as such, but I'm quite comfortable with my own space, being by myself. I love, you know, I don't need other people necessarily to feed off. You know, I'm quite happy sat with a fire, tinkering away with a glass of something nice, you know. Or, you know, just some quiet time. And I've had to push myself over the years to, you know, I remember when I was getting going, I wasn't as confident, you know, and by doing, you've become more confident. I look back at my first few videos that I did on YouTube, and I was like shy as, you know, it's practicing, and it's being, I love standing up in front of a crowd, but I'm not necessarily an extrovert that I don't need that. You know, I love it because for me, it's my passion that drives me to push myself out there, to get what I love to do to others, you know, and that's an amazing thing. And that passion is as me standing up in front of a crowd of hundreds of people, or doing a book, you know, sitting down and writing a book. I do what I need to do, what the passion's driving in me to help people, because I really see that lots of people need support and guidance with barbecue in the UK, and there's a lot of people struggling with it. And my thing for me is to help people to come from, you know, somebody who's struggling, a beginner, to turning them into a barbecue hero. And that's what I love to do. I love it when somebody does a class with me and they go away and they absolutely smash something, or somebody cooks a recipe for my book or my YouTube channel, and that blows me away when I've given somebody the confidence, because that's all it is helping, giving them the skills, and then allowing them the confidence to flourish. You know, and saying, look, you can do this as well, and show again a bit of inspiration to say, look, and when you get really good, you can do this. And it's taking people on a journey through that. You support them when they're starting, and then guide them to do some interesting stuff as they grow. And that's the passion in me. So I'm not a natural introvert. I was very shy as a you know, young man and stuff. Even, you know, in my 20s, 30s, but I've become more and more because it's the passion in me that drives that. That was a really, really great question, Charlie. Yeah. Because people assume they see you, you know, on a thing like this, or, you know, and you know, bright shirts and stuff, and they assume that you're a confident, you know, confident person, an extrovert, and not everyone is. Just because you wear a loud shirt and you can feel comfortable in a camera, you know, I'm quite happy in my own space as well. So,
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But it's the passion, isn't it? The fire, we've got it in us. That fire burns in us, and we love barbecue. We can see the positive things it has on us, and we want to share that love with others, I think.
Definitely.
It is. Sorry, did you want to?
No, you keep going, Charlie. I'm enjoying you. You keep. If you're on a roll, you keep rolling. The questions can keep. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask Dutchie's question. Who was the first person to burn the new floor of the barbecue school?
Oh, come on. This is UK Barbecue School. Nobody burning the floor yet. We've got solid concrete floor. It's about that deep, this concrete floor. So a few little burns ain't gonna,
So, speaking of the barbecue school and speaking of kind of like where to take this question? So have you been a teacher to other people? And like you were talking about how you'd worked at gas and oil industry for a while. Like, is that your natural bent, is to teach other people? And whether through books or schools or anything else?
I mean, I think so. I mean, my mum was an art teacher, bless her, when she was alive, and I think I've got that instinct to want to teach. I was always like in the oil and gas industry. I'm a geologist, and I've always loved mentoring people and helping them to develop. And I've done a lot of that in the oil and gas. And I mean, I've tried various things in barbecue to try and make it work, and like catering and stuff, and that didn't work. But I just was drawn to teaching people. And I'm not saying I'm the best barbecuer in the world or anything. I've made lots of mistakes over the years, but I like to help people when they're just getting going, and give them the confidence. And that's what I think I do well, is that I reassure people and say that it's okay, you can do this, and make people feel comfortable enough to do that. Like a lot of cookery schools, not barbecue, but a lot of cookery schools are very formal, and people feel like they've got to struggle to keep up. They're all chopping at the same thing. There's pressure. And barbecue isn't like that for me.
True.
A lot of guys do competition barbecue schools as well here in the UK. Now, I've never cooked in a competition barbecue. I've judged lots. I know what's good barbecue. I mean, for me, I don't need reassurance, a medal or something to say that my food's good. I know it's good. It tastes good. I've tried other people's. I know mine's good. So I don't need that reassurance to win a trophy or something. I've judged lots of barbecue competitions. I know what's good. So I've got no interest in teaching competition barbecue at all. I teach people how to cook outdoors. That's what I do. Competition barbecue, people get a bit focused on that. And it's kind of like sort of Formula One racing. It's a very small bit of cooking outdoors. And I like to give people a big picture, and then they can choose. Some guys go off and do competition barbecue, others go and do catering, others do Argentine style cooking or wood-fired oven cooking. There's so many different bits. It just feels for me to concentrate on a competition barbecue cook would not. I mean, I can do a great ribs, brisket, pulled pork and chicken, the KCBS, but for me, that's doing the same thing over and over and over again doesn't excite me at all. So.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like, to be honest with you, like the competition barbecue food, like you wouldn't want to eat it more than a couple of bites. It's like, there's kind of like, it's great. It looks really good. And like, sure, for a bite, it's pretty good, but it's like intense. So I don't know. If you want to go to that route, and you try to bring that into the backyard, people will be like, we're not going over your backyard anymore.
Absolutely, yeah. I know it sounds awful, but I'm not a big fan of regular barbecue sauces. Most of them, I'm not a fan. I haven't got a sweet tooth. I don't like things too sweet. And I find a lot of barbecue sauces very sweet for me. And again, same with barbecue rubs. I find a lot of barbecue rubs very sweet. So I go, I make my own up, and I prefer slightly saltier, more interesting, spicier ones. I mean, I'd always put hot sauce on a brisket. For me, a nice chili hot sauce goes with barbecue so much better than a sweet, you know, a sweet, you know, barbecue tangy style barbecue sauce. That for me, I like that.
Right, and that's the beauty of barbecue as well, though. Everything's so kind of, there's so many different cooking styles, and everything sort of tastes kind of different wherever you go. It's sort of, that's the lovely thing. You know, you can take a great big cut of meat like a brisket, and you can do it sort of like a Texas style, or do it more of a Memphis style, or you can do it UK style now, which we are getting. I think we're slowly developing, starting to find our own way. You've got really good sort of savoury rubs in the UK now, quite herby, sort of like more traditionally English tasting, I suppose you could say now.
I think so. I mean, that's what I did with my rubs, you know, many years ago when I was doing them, and you know, I came up with something that fitted my flavour profile more. And you know, it's not to say that, you know, American rubs are wrong. It's just my flavour, and that's something I teach in my classes. Is that, you know, I see a lot of people out there telling others how to do things, and that they're wrong if they like something. If they like, you know, they like a spicy sauce instead of a sweet sauce, then they're wrong. And that really upsets me to see that, because we're all different and we all like different things. So, you know, it's like, you know, cooking a steak, a tomahawk steak. Like everyone says, oh, you gotta reverse sear it. And I see it so often in my Facebook group and on social media. Steak, everyone says reverse sear. It's the only way. I did on my intermediate class. I do 2 tomahawk steaks, and I do 1 direct, 1 indirect, and then I swap them over, and then I rest them and serve them, cooking them exactly the same temperature, resting the same time, just swap them over. So see which is people prefer, reverse sear or sear first. And I've been blown away. You know, although people say, oh, you must reverse sear a steak like a tomahawk, actually 90% of people prefer the sear first.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on, again, horses for courses. You know, I saw a really cool thing on Instagram the other day. Some guy drilled a hole in a tomahawk steak and hung it over a fire. I was like, wow, that's a really cool thing to do. It's just dangling it. You know, it's really cool.
I've been doing that for years with Coach de Buff. Drill a hole, you know, string through, and then I love it.
Very cool idea. Again, it's just a different variation on a theme, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. I quite like a leg of lamb. Because you've got the tendon at the top, so you've got a perfect hole to hook through, and then you have that hanging down. So yeah. Did you ever see the video of me and Ollie Warner from Meat Matters, and we did hanging leg of lamb, and we start drinking wine, and we're drinking more, and we're basting it with salt, gradually getting more and more pissed, and that's one of my favourite videos ever.
So yeah, vaguely rings a bell. Yeah. To be fair, I watch most of your videos. To be honest, they all kind of, you know, the stuff you do, it just sort of blows you away, especially, and you've been trailblazing that sort of cooking for such a long time. It's so cool. We're gonna put it back on track a little bit now. So as we're talking about your barbecue course, what's the history of your cooking classes then? How did you sort of, like, obviously you started back at Country Wood Smoke HQ, and now you've moved it out there. So what's been the progression of how you started up to where you are now?
So I have my lovely shack at home, and people were asking me, you know, like friends and stuff, and saying, oh, look, you know, can you show us, we're struggling with our barbecuing, can you show us how to do it? So that was 6 years ago. And I gradually sort of evolved it, tweaked what I was doing, tested it out on friends and stuff, and started charging a few quid for it. And, you know, it sort of grew, and it became more formally like UK BBQ School 5 years ago. And I started doing basic classes, and then people who did the basic classes wanted to come back for something more because they loved it so much. And so I did an intermediate classes, and then they wanted some more. So then I started doing occasional sort of advanced classes. And that tends to be a bit more bespoke, but you know, it sort of grew, and at Country Wood Smoke HQ, my original place, it was never intended as a workspace. It was my home, and meant for me and my family to hang out in, and me cook a bit of barbecue, and in the rain. But it became more and more harder to work in. More kit turned up for me to cook on, big stuff like that, like that. Yeah, and it was small. It wasn't small. It's a big shack, but stuff gets bigger, and and I
quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And it became apparent if I was going to do it, then I'm one of these people, and I just do it and do it properly. I don't mess around, And it was just apparent this year that with COVID and my day job sort of being a bit quiet, and I just thought, yeah, let's go for it. And good opportunity turned up with this space here. It's on a beautiful farm shop. I can give you a little tour. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can see it's quite long. It's about 18 meters by 5 meters, and I've got 2 shacks, 2 like log cabins, one at that end, and then one all the way around here behind me. So log cabin there, tables and grills, and you can see there's a lovely pond there.
Yeah.
On this side.
What kind of fish do you get in the pond?
There was some baby ducks in it the other day, I saw.
Piggy, piggy, piggy. Piggy, piggy, piggy.
Here comes dinner.
Piggy, piggy, piggy. Here comes dinner.
Yeah.
It's bacon on the hoof.
You got them trained well. Soon you're going to shout piggy, piggy, piggy. They're going to be jumping over the other fence.
Trampoline down here, so that they run towards me, jump, and then come in.
Yeah.
So I've got well trained. They're probably grumpy at me now because I haven't got them any food. But yeah, they're little mini hogs. Little mini coonies.
All right.
Very little.
I'm looking for those as pets.
Yes. Is it more? Will they be food eventually, or?
No, they're pets. There's some ducks over there.
Yeah, I saw your post on that the other day. You found some ducklings.
Yeah,
what else
some ducklings.
do you get from the lake? Do you actually go fishing there? Do you do a catch and cook?
So at the moment they're just little fish. So we're going to put some rainbow trout in there, hopefully, and
Nice.
Yeah, it's only small really. It's a little stream that runs through it, and they've dug it out to make a little lake, so it's not big. But I could just imagine me sat here, barbecue on, fishing, beer. I won't want to go home. I mean, I'm 3 minutes away from home. Home's that way, 3 minutes, so it's not far. It's not far to go. But yeah, so I've got all mod comms here. I've got internet, and
that's ideal to me. I would not leave that place ever.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But
we had so Dutchie's asking my question. What is UK style barbecue? Like, what is the definitive UK style barbecue or something? If you end up like looking at the US, right? You've got about like 5 different regional varieties, 5, maybe 6, depending. You got Kansas City, Memphis, Texas, a couple of.
You could split Texas into 3 categories on its own. To be fair,
there's all the little places doing their own thing.
Yeah,
Texas is massive. I was talking about this the other day. You could get England in Texas like 5 or 6 times. It's huge.
Yeah.
Chef Johnny told me how big it was. I couldn't believe how big it was when he told me. I was like, really?
It's bigger than France. Texas is.
So British style. What is British style? So we were masters of cooking over fire. We were known by the French as le roast beef. We were famed for being able to cook chunks of meat, whole animals in front of the fire. And we lost that ability in the sort of convenience of the 70s and 80s. People stopped barbecuing because it was easier to pop it in a microwave or an oven, or convenience food. And cooking over fire requires a bit of work and a bit of skill, and we lost that skill. And I see places like Argentina. So Argentina are very proud of their traditions. That's why I feel so akin to that style of cooking, because like a lot of Brits went over to Argentina, a lot of Welsh, a lot of British people went over to Argentina, and they took those skills. But I'm not saying Argentina's backward, but they didn't lose those skills. They kept them. They kept the tradition as really important, whereas we lost that tradition. So I see like Argentine style cooking as very based on what we were doing in the UK and Europe, and for me that is a really good style. So that was our heritage, but we lost that. So I mean, I don't know about you, Ryan, but like my father didn't barbecue. Most people my age say their fathers didn't barbecue, and it's something that it was gone. I mean, I've had to teach myself from scratch. You know, I've got good memories, like sat in front of a fire, wood stove. We had fire pits outside, bonfires, lovely bonfires, and putting roast jacket potatoes wrapped in foil in the embers. But my dad burnt sausages, and that was it really. And so I've had to teach myself. And so I'm a great believer that you look back into your heritage and you find what works. And I've been looking. I'm a big sort of scholar of outdoor cooking. I love reading books. I found some great books about the old British ways of cooking, and they had amazing things like lark spits and little spits that sat in front of the fire, and you put little tiny birds on and grill them in front of the fire. It's amazing that the heritage, and I see a lot of that resemblance in like the Argentine style cooking to this old medieval. A lot of the cottages here, I mean, ours is 400 years old. Our neighbours is 800 years old. They've all got cooking like inglenook set up where you can hang stuff, where like in a hearth sort of style. They've got bread ovens built into the cob walls, the clay and stone walls. Yeah. So I see that as and you can pick up like a lot of antique shops around here. You can pick up a lot of those old cooking implements, and I see the hearth style cooking. People like Tom Bray, Country Fire Kitchen. He's got his amazing sort of setups. There's like sizzle grills. There's Savage Barbecue. The guy selling the sort of Asados, Somerset grills. Those guys. There's a fair few of them, and it's that hearth style of cooking. I think that's just going to be going boom. Once people realise what's possible with it, we'll see these nice hanging frames where people hang pineapples and tomahawk steaks with holes drilled through and stuff. We all see that, and people are like really curious about it. Once they've moved on, you can see the ducks running past.
Yeah.
Once people get over.
Ducks are chasing the black duck.
Yeah. Once people get over American barbecue being the only way to cook barbecue, they realise that there's lots of other ways of cooking outdoors, and that's not. I love ribs. I love brisket. God, brisket is when it's right it's hard to beat it. But I just say to people, there's other things that they can explore as well, and that's what about it.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Like it was like it's an intentionally naive question that I asked, because it refers to specifically American barbecue, because American barbecue seems to be sweeping. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said people forgot how to barbecue in like kind of the 70s and 80s, and it became it became like, just throw a couple of burgers on the grill or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, barbecue's been around since the start of fire. Like once there was fire,
correct.
You took
correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, but real barbecue, like proper barbecue in the States, was on the verge of dying out. A while ago, 10 years ago, it was on its way out. And it had a resurgence. And I think we're seeing that resurgence in a lot of places.
True.
And that's a really good thing.
True. But I think people are co-opting the American barbecue as like, now this is the way to barbecue in a lot of places, as opposed to things like you're doing, where you're going like with rolled flavors, and people have been doing this forever. So so there are other people now bringing that back in.
I mean, some people in the UK think that, like, if you live in Texas, you sit down and you eat a brisket every meal with salt and pepper rub, and that's how you eat a brisket. That's how you eat barbecue all the time. But I'm sure, you eat lots of different things. You might fancy like some nice Korean barbecue, or you might fancy some nice Middle Eastern skewers or something, or you might just grill up some burgers or sausages or something, or
I don't think everyone's got like 10, 12 hours to cook a brisket every day for dinner. You know what I mean? It's like it's impractical, isn't it?
Josh has got an interesting question. Did Americans take barbecue and commercialize it?
That's probably a fair comment, I'd say.
I think it's actually to some degree true, for sure.
I think they've what's the word? I think it's become like inspirational because of it. It's like something to aspire to, aspirational maybe rather than inspirational. Made it something to aspire to, that you want to cook the best brisket. But as we know, that's a journey. That's a journey. You don't cook. I'm sure Franklin would say he's still learning. Aaron Franklin would say he's still learning about how to cook the best brisket. I'm sure he would.
I don't even think that guy eats barbecue, to be honest. I remember seeing an interview saying he doesn't particularly care for barbecue. He just cooks it really well.
Yeah.
I don't care for martinis, but I make a really good one.
I love all martinis equally.
I can't stand it. It's like rubbing alcohol to me. I don't know, but I make a mean one. Apparently, everyone was like, "This is the best martini I ever had." I'm like, all right, whatever.
No, keep them coming then. So, let's get the course. So, we've sort of covered your venues, and what sort of cookers have you got behind you then? You've got, I spotted a big Pro Q bullet smoker you've got there. You've got some pretty industrial looking stuff over your left hand or your right hand shoulder. So what cookers are you using?
I've got all the toys. I don't have an offset yet here. I mean, I'm here for my work, so I mean, running an offset, it's a labour of love. If I'm teaching, then I am getting an offset here, and I will be teaching. I've taught on some of the biggest offsets in the UK, the big barbecue mates ones. I've taught people, catering people. But the thing is that every barbecue is the same. It's controlling your fuel, your air, and your heat. So those three things, and whatever you do, it's a barbecue is just a container for that, and whatever fuel you use, a barbecue is a container. So you're just controlling the amount of air that gets to your fuel, the amount of fuel you're putting on there, and the heat, how hot the fuel is getting. And you control those three things, and you can cook on anything. So, I mean, this thing here is a lovely Argentine grill. And it's amazing. A couple of logs in the box, look on it. Right up to big trailer offset smokers. I keep it simple here. There's no good me having a huge offset here for beginner classes. They're not going to do that. I think offsets put off a lot of beginners, unfortunately, because they go out and buy a cheap offset, and it's not a good start for a lot of people. But yeah, I've got so I teach my basic. I teach people. I use a little tabletop Thuros grill for dirty steak. I do how to set up a grill with Weber kettles. You've got to have a Weber kettle in there. People find that very relatable, and they have, it's nothing scary. And then the Pro-Q bullet smokers here are, as you spotted, that's what I learned on. So I think it gives people a few options. My intermediate is more sort of recipe led. So I've got a pellet grill over there. So I do ribs on the pellet grill, because I've already taught people how to control temperature. So the rest of it's cooking then, and a bit of inspiring cooking. So I do pellet grills, and I do Weber kettles, and I've got a Hellraiser grill, which I love.
They're nice bits of kit.
Hellraiser from Canada. Yeah, I love it. So
yeah, they're nice. So as you said, you do your entry level, and then you do your intermediate and your advanced. What would you say you personally get the most feedback from, or the most satisfaction from teaching people? Would you say it's sort of like your entry level, intermediate,
definitely
advanced?
The beginners classes. I love it. Everyone's got a little preconceived idea of what barbecue is, and it might be soft burnt sausages and burgers, for example, or it might be stress, or everyone's got a preconceived idea, and I love to go like that and get rid of that preconceived idea, start them out afresh and build up. There's a lot of like myths and a lot of hearsay. You've got to have charcoals all white to cook on, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and there's a lot of myths about it. And I like to sort of reset people with those, good skills, that controlling fires and heat control, give them the good skills to do that. And I love those basic. I love it, that light bulb moment that goes on in people's eyes when you show them on a Weber kettle, 2-zone, direct, indirect, lid on, how to set up, and that it's like a light bulb moment for people, and I love that. That gets me excited to help people see that. I had a guy on my class, and he was 70, and his family bought him the place on my class for his 70th birthday.
Oh, wow.
We always introduce ourselves, and everyone says how long they've been cooking for, what they cook on. And he said, I've been barbecuing for 50 years, he goes. I thought, here we go. And he said, every time I barbecue, I burn the sausages and burgers. And he said, I don't know why, my family have had enough, he said. After 50 years, they've had enough. They saw this barbecue course, they put me on it, and he said, I don't know what I can learn, but, and literally 10 minutes with me, I thought he was going to, it makes me quite emotional. I thought he was going to start crying. He was like welling up, and you could see, I said, you okay? And he said, yeah. He said, why has nobody told me how to do this sooner? How to set up 2-zone cooking and lid on? And he said, look, I've been doing it wrong for 50 years. And he said, in 5-10 minutes, you've shown me exactly what I've been doing wrong. And he said, I don't understand why nobody's ever told me to do this. And he said, look, I might only have a few years left in me, but at least I can nail the barbecue when I cook it for my family. And for me, that's why I do it. That's
I mean, that's your traditional neighborhood barbecue. You go down all right, let's have a barbecue in the neighborhood. You show up, and it's just burnt burgers and burnt hot dogs and everything else. And it's just
it's good to hear that's in the States as well. I mean, everyone assumes that everyone.
For sure.
Everyone thinks that everyone in the States.
We are not 100%. Everybody knows how to barbecue kind of plays. It's basically like, all right, your neighborhood party. You better have backup for that thing, because you're gonna go home hungry. If you know anything about anything.
Yeah. Do you get invited to many sort of backyard barbecues? Normal sort of,
I do, and I'll ask you the same question. How hard do you find it not to take over?
Oh, good question. So, firstly, I don't get invited. I've built up a reputation here now enough that I very rarely get invited.
You'd have to get invited to some neighborhood somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I've taught lots, and I love it that people once they've got the hang of what I've taught them, they will invite me to their house to show me, and I love that. And now, if somebody invites me to their house to barbecue, that's a big deal. They've taken time to think about it, and if it's not right, if it's not good, I ain't gonna say that. I've been invited to barbecues, and I could be really critical. I could sit there and say, what the F are you doing? Right. But it's not my place to say that, to take somebody's wind away. If they ask me, I will, for help, I will, I won't take over because it's not my barbecue. I think every man or woman's barbecue is their castle, and it's not my place to come along and take over and say, look, what are you doing? That's not my place. That's not my way. So, I certainly wouldn't do that. I'd be grateful that somebody's actually taken time to want to cook for me.
True. Yeah. 100% true. Nah, it's 100% true. It's like I've winced many a time and cringed many a time, but there's no way I'm like insulting somebody when they're doing their own thing. And if they ask for help, I'll say like, all right, you should, like maybe do it this way. Speaking of your classes, one of the most important things I find is being able to make your own sauces for rubs. I think that makes you understand the spices you're using and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
How important do you find that to, I don't know if you teach that at all in your classes, but how important do you find that for because if you want to buy a store-bought sauce, that's fine. But you need to at least understand what goes in your store-bought sauces. And the more you know about it, the more you're able to kind of adjust as needed. And then have a corollary on that later. But
so I am a big fan of doing that. So on my basic class, I teach people how to make my house rub. So it's a nice general purpose rub that I developed when I was doing catering, and it's a lovely, it's got bags of flavour, and it's delicious. And I teach people how to make that. I was selling it a few years ago, but I was still teaching people how to make it. And for me, that is a good starting point for people with their own, journey to make some. And you're giving people, and I always say to people, look, nothing's wrong with this. This is a starting block, and somebody might like a spicy rub, somebody might like a sweet rub or herby rub or whatever. But I give people the building blocks to get a balanced rub to start with. And then when they've got a balanced basic rub, the salt, the pepper, the sugar, everything balanced, then they can start adding in their own things to it. And I think that's a really important skill. Really important skill.
Yeah.
Sauces. What I do with sauces is I get a really cheap, giving all my secrets away. So a lot of people catering buy a cheap commercial barbecue sauce by the gallon, right. And then they doctor it themselves. They tweak it and make it their own, and then they put it up and charge it for 10 times the amount. And I know lots of people catering and restaurants and stuff do that rather than starting up from boiling down onions and stuff. People get a basic product and pimp it up. So I teach people how to do that as well.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with a good doctored barbecue sauce. I do that regularly. Some you can tweak it so you can have a sweeter one, or in my case, a more spicy
it'll
one.
work.
It's why make a why make life difficult for yourself? That's the thing. Someone's put all the work in. You can change it to how you want.
I know a lot of high-end products are bottled, have got the same base flavor, and I know that they use other people's sauces as a base, barbecue sauce as a base, and then sell it as a something more artisan, and have used a base sauce. So I know that happens quite a lot. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I just teach people to do that themselves.
Well, I think a lot of people do that anyway, don't they? Or certainly, it all depends on your palate and your background, and obviously if you've been on one of your courses or not. But I always just.
Oops, sorry.
I was just going to say I'm more of an as you know, Mark, I don't follow instructions very well. I'm more of an instinctive cook. I just sort of do things and taste it and see how it goes. Whereas some people, like for instance Matt here, follow everything to the thing and nail it every time. Whereas I sort of fuck around and it didn't work. But then next time it'd be cracking.
Tell you what, you get a regular barbecue sauce and you chuck a stick of butter in it and half a bottle of bourbon, and you got something special.
Yeah. True story, that. Oh, there you go. Look, Dutchie's chimed in. I ripped off someone's chili sauce, Ryan. I'll tell you what, I've got a good chili sauce recipe on my YouTube channel. It's really good. It tastes like a kebab shop chili sauce. And Steve hit me up. He said, "Can I use it?" And he done a short, and it done really well. Fair play to him. I'm pleased it worked for him. But I've got it's like anyone. If you're doing a YouTube thing, or if anyone's doing a YouTube thing, you're trying to teach people how to cook, which is a scaled back version of what you're doing, except you've got people on site and you're showing people hands on. We're doing it. Well, me, Charlie, and yourself are doing it virtually, and you're trying to convey it in a good way. And you show as many people as you can, or try and show as many people as you can in a clear way.
Well, there's a question right there. So you have your barbecue school. Have you ever thought about doing a virtual barbecue school?
So in lockdown, I did some virtual classes, quite basic. It wasn't barbecue. It was how to cook a steak in a cast iron pan, and it was okay. I mean, I was asked to do it. It was a sort of trial thing. It was okay, but it didn't. For me, it didn't really work because I couldn't connect with the people. And for me, barbecue is a connection thing, person to person. Even if I've got a group of 10 or 12 people here, there's still that connection with those people. That I mean. As much as wonderful as this is, I'd rather shake you by the hand. I'd rather sit and have a nice glass of bourbon or a beer with you by the fire pit. As much as this is good, I'd rather that. And because I don't need to do the virtual classes because I'm busy enough with the real stuff. So maybe if I was struggling with the real classes, then I might look at sort of casting my net further afield. But I mean, to be honest, there's such a big market for barbecue classes in the UK because there's so few people doing it. I think that's probably going to change. I'm seeing more and more people getting into it. But I mean, how many can you think of, Ryan? Probably 3 or 4, maybe.
3 off the top of my head I can think of.
Yeah, and that's in the whole of the UK. And I mean, where I am, there's very little of anything. So barbecue. So I'd rather teach people face to face. I'd rather do things and shake people by the hand when I can, and sit and have a beer with them and have them actually taste my food, smell the smoke, smell the meat as it's cooking, get the real experience. And I think we've all been like with lockdown and Corona, we've all been stuck at home on Zoom and everything like that. And actually, a lot of people want something real now. I've had meetings for the last year on Zoom, and I hate it. And for me, the thought of sitting I know like we are here, but you know, sitting and doing a Zoom class just for me doesn't, you know, it's great on one side that it's great that like we can connect and you can connect with friends. I mean, I've made some amazing friends throughout the world from this because I have been online more, and I've seen that as a good thing. But we've also got to remember that there's a real thing, and actually sitting with people around a fire, talking about food and cooking some nice food and having a beer is what we all want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And like, so I'll like, all right, to ping pong back, I'll go kind of back to like rubs or spices. What do you think are the most, give me a top 2, top 3 of most overused spices and the most underused spices that people don't know about?
Okay, so overused, I think celery. I struggle with celery, you know, celery powder, celery in rubs. I see that from a lot of American-based rubs use celery, and for me, it overpowers a lot of stuff. It's got to be done very subtly, and even when it's subtle, it's still there for me a bit strong. MSG. I'm not saying there's something wrong with MSG because there isn't, as far as I can see. But for me, it turbo amplifies everything up in a way, and for me, sometimes the subtleties get lost then. For me, it is all about the subtles. I always say that barbecue and like flavor combinations like rubs and sauces are kind of like an orchestra, yeah. That when they all work, everything's working well together, you get beautiful harmony and everything's right. But if the trumpet's out, if the trumpet's flat, that's all you can hear. So if one thing is out, and I mean, like going back to celery, that's for me personally, I find that quite a loud flavor for a lot of things, and it's the same with sauces. So quite often I find a lot of homemade sort of style sauces are very oniony and almost like raw onion flavor. Even when they've been cooked a lot, they still have that quite oniony flavor. That's one that's overused. Underused, I mean, I think basically anything that's not American, if you know what I mean. We like a lot of the stuff we get now is just American copy. And I think when you copy something, you're only ever going to be a poor copy of it because we're not the original. Yeah, you're only ever going to be a poor copy of it. So for me, in our own flavors here, what we have in the UK is more important. And our most popular food, we've taken it on in the UK from around the world. We're great magpies of flavour in the UK, of food cultures and stuff. Yeah. Because we haven't got much of our own. We've had to start from scratch. So curry is huge. Indian flavours, spices are huge. Yeah. You know, we love our curries, and I love those curries like turmeric, cumin, so when I produced one of my rubs, one of them was a mocha rub that did really well, and it had coffee, it had chocolate in it, it had cumin, so it's kind of Mexican-y sort of flavors. But cumin, good. I think, thank you. Cumin is very underused, and it's just amazing on beef. So good on beef. Cumin, spiced beef. Yeah, you have some nice coffee and a little bit of cocoa and cumin, bit of brown sugar and some chipotle. I love chipotle as well. But that's I guess that's is that enough? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Works for me.
Yeah. Another thing.
I also like fresh herbs a lot as well, and obviously you can't use them in a dry rub, but I use a lot of herbs, like sort of fine herbs. It's called. It's not the mixed herbs that you put. Italian sort of style herbs. It's a more subtle sort of European version, and I love that. It's a bit more subtle. So I'm all about subtlety of flavour, and I love that.
Well, wild garlic seems to be a big thing coming up. I'd say at the moment that seems pretty popular. I've seen lots of posts about that lately, or when it was in season. I think it's just sort of coming out of season now over here, isn't it? but people have been
definitely.
drying it. And
I love wild garlic.
It's tasty as. It's
yeah,
really
wild
good.
garlic rub would be quite nice.
Mm.
Wild garlic in a rub. Sorry, I'm just plugging you in.
Okay.
There we go.
Maybe I don't want to be plugged in.
Pickles unplugged.
Exactly. I'll go Bob Dylan style, like the old school Bob Dylan before he plugged in.
Mm-hmm. So, are there any particular incidents that stick in your mind that have happened in your old premises or in your new premises so far? Of say anything sort of like funny or sort of outstandingly that's particularly stuck in your mind over the last few years that you could talk about?
So I haven't had many very drunk people. I had one guy who's a friend of mine who basically he's a big guy, and it was the rugby on, and he'd been an ex the Chiefs had won, and he'd had a few of those. It was his birthday or something as well. And basically his wife turfed him out to me and said, look, it's your problem now. And he was running around with knives and stuff. I said, look, just sit down. I'll look after you, bring you some food and stuff. But I just love the people that I get to, hundreds upon hundreds of people who I get to interact with, and they've all got their own stories and their own experience. And I just love sharing that with them, those experiences. I mean, for me, that's what barbecue is. It's a community thing. It's personal, shared experiences with people talking about their life by the fire, and it's great sort of therapy, as it were. You really bond with people when you sat around a fire with a glass of bourbon and some nice food. That there doesn't get much better than that, really, for me.
Yeah, that's true. Good shout. But I'm looking like I'm sure sooner or later our paths are going to cross, and we're going to be sitting around a fire getting smashed on some pretty decent something or other sooner or later.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for the day when we're.
I'm surprised you're not headed down this way, Ryan, because most people in the UK, because they can't travel overseas now, so everyone's like, oh, we're heading down to Devon and Cornwall, so which is where I live.
I've sort of missed the boat on that, to be honest. Like we've been looking around to go away somewhere, and like I know everybody's got to make a
nowhere
buck,
left.
Good God!
Nowhere left.
Like
I'm thinking about putting beds in here and renting it out.
Yeah, you should. You should do like a camping course over the weekend or something, and you'd make a killing.
Yeah.
You would, honestly.
No, definitely. Yeah.
I
mean, all my weekends are now booked. All my weekends are now booked until October, pretty much.
You have to do a Marcus Fest next year.
Oh, I did one a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's all right. I might do. I'd like to, actually. Yeah. I'm just not one of these people who like does things because so I'll do things and like I like to sort of surprise or do something new. Like the thought of doing the same thing year on year, because people expect it, isn't me. I'll do it and then I'll do something else different. So there will be something at some point, but I mean, I want to have like nice open days here and stuff, and get people sat around the fire pit. And if people end up sleeping in the shack here, then that's okay too, for everyone.
You got a field full of pigs to get comfy with.
I'd come over there. I'd brave the COVID to come over there to.
Welcome anytime. Yeah. Welcome. I just need a pit stop for a minute. Can we take a minute?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, let's do it. We're going. Yeah.
I'm off.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a good little midway point. What a fantastic interview so far, Charlie. It's going really
well. He's an amazing dude. And it's fun to find out about him. I really like it.
So much information. And to be honest, we're only really just scratching the surface as well. We could probably talk for hours about this sort of stuff.
That is true. When he comes back, I need to answer the door too. But while we're here, let me keep that chat entertained.
Yeah, of course. So
we got Elliot, we got Dutchy cooking. We got going to what are the figs? Yeah, or the pigs? No, the pigs. Never mind. My contacts don't work at all.
Oh, you got contacts in, have you?
I do. Yeah, I used to wear glasses, but its contacts are. I've worn them for a little bit too long.
You're just too cool for the specs, eh?
You know, it's funny. Like I was with a friend of mine, and I think we were 17. We wanted to go to Harrison Ford and Mosquito Coast, and he my friend Kieran actually, from Ireland. He lent me his glasses, and I looked at the screen. And I said, "Oh man, I need glasses." So I wore them from that point on.
I've always worn them. Like one of my eyes is long shot.
Yeah.
I've got astigmatism in one eye, so one eye is long sighted and the other one's short sighted. So I can't wear contacts because obviously if you've got astigmatism, it doesn't work.
It gets better as you get older too. So you get farsighted and nearsighted, and
they might line up one day.
And then no sight. I
needed to empty one end and top up the other. So I also was getting a bit hungry, so I've gone for a bit of cheese.
Oh, nice.
I was getting the munchies. So.
Oh, good lad.
What is your favorite kind of cheese?
Cheddar.
Ooh.
Cheddar. I mean, it depends what a nice good proper cheddar. Yeah. I went to school in cheddar, so I know a good kick-ass cheddar. But like burger cheese has got to be plastic cheese, the orange plastic cheese.
Yeah,
the cheapest one you can find. That's that.
I don't know why they call it American cheese, but that's what they call it here. But it is plastic cheese.
Really nice on this. I met this guy at a food show. And he was called the Happy Mexican.
What was that?
All right. So
chili.
Sorry, it's bloody hot.
I mean, the first guest who dies on the show.
Chili salsa. And he's called the Happy Mexican.
That sounds really good.
I'll tell you what, if you let us know.
Honestly, it's so good though. It's hot. You know when something's hot, but it's addictively hot.
I love spicy. Like, I'm a huge fan of spicy.
Well, if you send us a link to it, I'll put the details in the show notes for the YouTube and the podcast.
Yeah, cool. So, I love it. It was just a guy I got chatting to. It was really interesting because it was like a local food show sort of thing, for like networking and stuff. And I saw this guy there, and I had a taste of it, and I said, "Look, man, I'm blown away by that. It's really good." And I got chatting to him, and he's been struggling with like lockdown and stuff, and it's been hard on his business. He does like Mexican catering sort of food. Lovely bloke. And I said, "Well, have you ever thought about teaching people to cook with your flavors?" And he said, "Well, I've done a bit of demos and stuff, but not much." I said, "Oh, let's have a chat." And so I'm going to get him down here, and he's going to do some Mexican classes.
Oh wow, that was the question I just actually thought. So you can have like guest spot cooking classes and stuff like that then?
Yeah. So. Oh, absolutely. So Sue Stoneman, lovely Sue. I don't know if she's on, but lovely Sue Stoneman's going to be doing it. There's a lady called Neela Ross who's doing going to do like spice. She hates the word curry, but she cooks some beautiful spiced food, and she's going to be coming here and doing classes, and hopefully lots more. I mean, I've already talked to Sam and Shauna; they're interested. DJ Barbecue, he's interested. Some of the, I don't just want like big names though. I want to give, people just getting established. I started doing some like mentor. Sorry, that's really hot. That's good. I started doing some mentoring people just getting started with the demoing. I mean, I went off and did it myself and just went and started demoing, and you couldn't shut me up once I started doing it. And but some people need a bit of confidence to do that. So I love helping people to build that sort of confidence and to do that. So
nice. That'd be interesting to see who comes along, and that'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
So is there someone looking at your door, Charlie?
Yes, sir. Don't talk about anything interesting until I get back.
Okay.
I'm just going to get some quick crackers. I've got cheese. I just want some crackers.
Okay. So as we've got this going in the chat here, someone's at the door. Does a snack have a does a shack have a door?
Once I get cheese, I want crackers. So, and I've been barbecuing all day. So I had a class on today, and I don't really eat much myself when I'm doing a class.
Yeah.
So I do get hungry after.
Of course, yeah. I suppose you're running around looking after people and keep it.
Yeah.
Is it? I suppose it must be sort of like sort of like when you're trying to herd them. And are they all cooking at the same time on individual grills, or are you just sort of like giving them the demo? And...
So I demo, but I get people up to get involved and get hands-on as well. So a combination. I found it works better with barbecuing, and like where everyone has a workstation, it's a bit formal and it doesn't really work for a lot of barbecue. So, sorry, I'm going to munch on my cracker.
Yeah, that's all right. I remember, God, you know, they do the food fair things. I think they're called Love Food or something like that. That we have them up here, and there was a char broil demonstration thing when they always used to do cooking schools and stuff like that. So you could book yourself in and do cooking schools with them like 2 or 3 times a day, and that was all sort of like you can imagine like the stainless set up under the canopy and all of that good stuff going on, and it was like a cook along sort of thing. So you could make a crumble and cook that in a pit, or you could do basic how to fillet a fish or how to make sausages and cook them. So really basic, interesting sort of stuff for the, well, I suppose general public. Obviously, it is for the general public. But I used because it was so close, I just used to go down with the boys and do it, you know, because they were always interested in cooking as well. I think the younger you can get children involved cooking, as long as it's safe, the better, you know. In my opinion, because they learn where the food's coming from, how to cook it. Obviously, that's a life skill people need. I was taught to cook when I was young, so I'm trying to do the same for my lads. You know, if they know how to cook a couple of dinners and not ping everything in the microwave, I've done my job. So even better if they can cook it outside, I suppose. But mind you, they are interested. I got a flat top thing the other day off of Tom. My oldest one, he loves that. I don't know whether he thinks he's going to be working at McDonald's one day, but he could get him out. He goes, "Oh, you should buy a burger van." I'm like, he seems to really like flat top cooking for some reason. Like go out there and make a breakfast for, well, you can do the whole family in it's less than 10 minutes instead of messing around indoors. Plus, you got the added bonus of. It's a really
good is such a nice way of cooking. It really is.
Yeah. It's so quick, so easy, and virtually no mess either. It's just a quick scrape and it's clean again. So
who have we got still in? I can't. Who's on our list of people in the chat? And I can't see the chat or anything. So I don't know.
So Elliot Haig is still in. Dutchie's here still. Not many people actually. I think they're either out or watching the football.
Oh, is there football on? Is it? That was bad planning, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't really follow football that much, to be honest. I'm more, well, like yourself. I'm more of a rugby guy. If there was anything rugby going on, Matt would be doing it on his own.
Definitely.
Let's be disappearing. But
this is delicious with that lovely salsa on. Honestly, this guy, I'm going to be like buying like bucket loads of this. It's delicious.
Are you gonna sort of like run any stock on your place as well? Are you to retail, or are you just keeping it purely as sort of like?
Yeah. So I work and sell books, probably a few rubs, thermometers, meter. I work with Thermopen, those guys. Okay, so some charcoal I'm going to have here, and grills. So the Hellraiser really sort of woke me up. The Hellraiser Yama grill. So I started playing with mine and posting about it and videos and stuff. And so many people contacted me, said, "I want one of those. I don't care. I want it." So I thought, hang on a minute, I've got to start selling these. So when the next shipment's not far off, so I've got a load of people buying those. So
good, smart move.
Yeah, so I'm not doing like a shop. What I'm going to have here is what I call barbecue funhouse.
Yeah.
Where people can come and get hands on with grills and stuff, have a play, and then if they like something, they might want to buy it, and I can help them relieve their wallet of their money for the barbecue product.
Right, it's a good idea. A hands-on barbecue shop. You know what I mean? Generally, you wander into any sort of retail establishment and they're all set up and sort of cold and shiny, but I don't think you quite appreciate how a barbecue is going to run until you get hands-on and hot and dirty, for want of a better word. You don't quite appreciate the mechanics of it and how it's going to work, or there might be something you like or particularly don't like. It's better.
There's a lovely farm shop over here, so people can come on like an open evening and go to the farm shop, get something to cook, come here, and I'll be here to give them a bit of advice, instruction. They'll learn by that, and then they might want to buy a grill or come back for a class or something.
Sounds pretty well thought out to me, mate. You got a good business acumen by the sounds of things. So Charlie's back. The door's been answered, hopefully.
I am back. It was very nice. So my question to you is like, what do you find is like the most interesting thing you do, like on barbecue, that people didn't know they could do on barbecue?
Well, far a dirty steak on the coals. So many people. So that's the first thing I do in my absolute beginner's class. Hang a steak straight on the coals. And then I've got a herby garlic base I brush on it.
Yeah.
I do that because you don't need lots of kit for it. You need some charcoal sat on any grill and some nice steak.
True.
And that is simplest, purest possible form of barbecue you can get. That's caveman cooking for a reason, because the cavemen got a chunk of meat, chucked it in the coals or hang it over the coals, gave it a nice sear, and then ate it. That's all. And people aren't sure because they think, it's technical or something, but actually it's easy. You get some nice hot, good quality lumpwood charcoal, get your steak on, 4 minutes aside roughly, take it off. And that blows people's minds. It's the first thing that they do. And they all say to me, "I've seen you do it, but I was a little bit worried or a bit scared, didn't know how to do it. So thank you for showing it to me," because most people say that's the first thing that they do when they get home is cook a dirty steak.
That's cool. Hey, Joey, Jimmy.
Jimmy Q and Joey.
Yeah. What's my other question? Another question, I can't remember. Oh well, I get around.
He'll come back, I'm sure. So we've kind of covered that, but obviously your barbecue school and your books and everything now and your fabulous classes, it's your full-time gig. It must have been a leap of faith to go from your day job into sort of like now where you are with everything set up, almost sort of like you're doing everything that every barbecuer really aspires to now. It must be an incredible feeling to be in the position where you are.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm pinching myself that this is real. It doesn't feel real to me. So, it's still all very new. 25 years in the oil industry. I mean, being totally honest, this wasn't my plan to do this. You know, it wasn't in my plan. It was always going to be my side hustle that I sort of built and enjoyed in my time off. And it wasn't ever the plan. People think, oh yeah, you were bound to do this. You know, it was something I wanted to do. But, you know, the oil industry's tough times. I don't know if you're having the same. Well, I know you're having the same. It's pretty rough over in the States with the oil industry. You know, a lot of people getting laid off and you know, losing their jobs. It's pretty rough times in that industry. So it was more like the universe pushed me to do this. So it said, look, hang on a minute, you're doing a bit of this, and you're actually doing okay at it. But here you go, boom. But
a big nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, it's supported me with that decision as well. It's, you know, a lot of amazing people and amazing things have happened to me since I said, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And that makes me lead to think that it was the right decision. It was the only decision because there's very little oil work, so I couldn't rely on that anymore. I can rely on this because this is simple. This is me that I'm relying on. I'm not relying on global economics and global situations, and this is me that I can control this, and that feels amazing that I've got an element of control.
Yeah, it must be very empowering, and also to know, again, you're the master of your own destiny, and you're sort of, in my eyes, you're living the dream. I'm a great believer that everything happens for a reason, you know, and obviously this has happened to you, and I'm pretty confident you're gonna sort of blossom at it, you know. You're one of the certainly one of the nicest guys in barbecue that I know in the UK. You deserve to do well. I'm sure you'll win it. There's no reason why you shouldn't.
Debatable. I find that highly debatable.
Obviously, you're in America, Charlie. You're one of the nicest people in America, I know.
Yeah, I'm almost Canadian, even.
Yeah,
but I'm not that nice. No, so I remember a question. So Ryan actually sent me one of the skews you did, and it was a lamb heart and kidney. I love strange cuts like that. I love offal. I love unusual foods. And when I feed them to people, not telling them, they'll love them too. But how do you find that reception goes for laying out flat and plain? Here's what it is. Are you getting good reception? Bad reception?
So I like to do things in my book that are easy wins. You know, there's easy win recipes in there.
Right.
There's things that need a little bit more involvement, and then I like to challenge people a little bit. So it's all about the journey, isn't it? It's and I like to challenge people, and people might go, "Oh yeah, that's not for me." They might try it, and it might change their mind, might open their minds up. If you challenge yourself a little bit, then you can change your perception. My wife doesn't like lamb at all, or didn't like lamb at all when I met her. She wouldn't touch it. I started cooking it on fire, over fire, and she loved it. She loves it. So I've changed her perception with that. And it's the same with unusual cuts. You know, it's not everyone's bag, and that's okay. I'll just say to people, try it. You might like it. But like with my kids, you know, they try. I mean, my kids will eat all sorts of weird stuff. Like their packed lunch boxes will have sardines, wakame seaweed. It'll have, you know, all sorts. And their mates have got cheese sandwiches. And you know, I brought my kids up to try new things and try new tastes. And you know, sometimes they want beans on toast, but other times they might say, I want some sardines with wakame. And
right. Yeah. No, same here. And speak which, my kids are like great. They love spicy. They love like all sorts of whatever. As long as it's cooked well, they'll eat it. But the other thing was, I was gonna say, what's your big feedback from the books you've done, like both positive and negative criticism? Like if you get any, I don't know how you get feedback from the books, or is it email?
Yeah, so Amazon's quite a good thing for negative feedback. You know, the reviews on that, keeping your feet on ground.
Right.
People behind the keyboard, they say,
right.
So I mean, that always grounds me. Also, you know, nothing's perfect, is it? You know, and it's not perfect for everyone, and that's okay. You know, people tell me it's a shit book. That's okay.
Just plain and simple. That's what they tell you.
Yeah. And that's okay. You know, they've obviously got their reasons. Unfortunately, that when you start doing well at something and, you know, people perceive you as doing better than them, they start looking at ways that maybe they're not doing so well. So they start gunning for you. And I'm getting a lot of that here at the moment.
You shouldn't be.
I
am. Anything interesting as far as like, because I've seen some really interesting negative criticism of people where it's just the weirdest thing you can ever possibly imagine. And I'm like, I don't know if that guy is sitting down in his basement, but he like creates these, well, not he, but like they create these like weird criticisms that are actually like so bad and so drawn out, they're actually slightly funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I get people telling me I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't won a competition, you know. So who am I to teach others how to barbecue because I haven't won a competition?
Right.
That's one. Yeah, I get a few. I mean, for me, so I choose not to sort of, I mean, sometimes it gets to me, but I'm a positive person and I choose not to allow that negativity to get to me. But yeah, some of them are quite funny, really.
They're just so out there that like some of them are just bizarre and just crack you up.
Yeah, one of the funniest ones was about dirty steaks. So quite often I get people tell me, "Oh, you don't know what you're on about. Those dirty steaks, they're awful. You don't know what you're on about." And I'll say, "Oh, what do you mean? Are they gritty? They're ashy? They're horrible? Oh, what charcoal do you use?" And it's usually they use briquettes, so they try and cook straight on briquettes, and that's not a nice way to cook. One guy, so he contacted me and he said, he said, "You don't know what you're on about. The dirty steaks are awful. They're gritty. They've got lots of little bits in. They're horrible." And I said, "Oh, what charcoal did you use?" Expected him to say, "He used briquettes." He said, "Oh, I didn't use briquettes. I cooked it on my gas grill." And I said, "Well, how could you cook dirty steak, caveman steak on a gas grill?" And what he'd done was, you know, the lava rocks.
Oh,
yeah.
And
they're
nasty
funky.
things. They soak up the fat and they're brittle, so they crunch, you know. I don't know if you've ever touched them, but little bits fall off. So he told me I didn't know what I was on about because he cooked a recipe where I say, don't cook it on poor quality charcoal, only on lump wood. He told me I didn't know what I was on about, and he cooked it on a gas grill lava rock. So I get stuff like that quite a lot. I love it.
Bless
so
him.
like
YouTube, for example. Like a lot of these people just are like theater of the absurd. Like it's so
YouTube seems to attract lots of them, and like I'll cook a steak on video, and I'll say, "Oh, look, you know, it's nice and medium rare," and I'll have taken the temperature. I know it's medium rare. I've eaten it. It's medium rare, and I'll get somebody tell me, "No, that's medium well." And I go, "No, it's not. I ate it. I know." You know, sometimes like the light or something, or you know,
that's true too. I have seen that. I've seen that happen.
If a steak sits as well, it sort of. roses up.
And often people don't know what medium well is or medium rare is themselves. I've seen in restaurants, and people don't know. I know, I ate it. I took the temperature of it. I ate it. I enjoyed it, but people have got to say, no, you've done it wrong.
That's when you know you made it if you're getting trolled. It's not a nice thing. I'm all for constructive criticism. Charlie knows this. I wouldn't say we're continuously assessing this podcast thing, but every now and again I'll chime in and say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And again, I'll probably be doing the same very soon, just to sort of like see if we can refresh something or take another look and see how we can improve.
That's how you improve, isn't it?
It's always good to have an objective look. If
we assess.
You've got to continually assess to improve. If it's constructive, that's cool. If it's not, it's not.
And I mean, 100% true. Like on my first videos, had a guy that stepped in. I actually know the guy through the internets and stuff. And he said, your audio is crap. And I was like, totally agree. Absolutely true. It is. Like, you're right. Let me fix that. And so I was like, all right, I'll fix it. No problem, man.
There's a lot of experts out there as well, I wouldn't Charlie, if you did something that I didn't, or Ryan, you did something I didn't agree with, I wouldn't say you're wrong. It's your way. That's the grown-up way. That's the adult way. Kids go, oh, you're wrong.
No, 100%.
A grown up learned. I'd want to learn from you how what you're doing is different to what I do, and
Yeah, 100% true. I mean, it's all to me, it's all a learning game, because no matter who you are, you have something to teach me. I don't care what's your personal story. I don't care what it's something you do. You have something to teach me, and I want to draw that out of you.
You know who I learn the most from? Beginners who come on my classes here. Seeing it through their eyes, I learn so much more than an expert who maybe is closed off to new ideas. They might say to me, why are you doing it like that? Couldn't you do it like this? And some of the stuff that blows my mind goes, well, yeah. And because they've got no preconceived ideas of how things should be necessarily, sometimes they've got amazing ideas, and it just makes me think, or it'll make me think in a different way. Challenge what I know and I'm teaching, and they'll say, well, why are you doing it like that? And I've got to explain then why I'm doing it like that and the reason.
Yeah, that makes total sense. You could bump into someone on a beginner class and they could be the next you in 10 years' time, because they don't know anything. They're just walking in, they're getting taught by some guy. Wind the clock forward 5, 10, 15 years' time.
True.
And they've got a total new outlook on cooking something that no one's seen yet, or someone's missed a trick somewhere.
I'm seeing lots of the young guys really coming on, like 11-year-olds, like Alpha King. There's Aston, who's a bit older. There's a few young guys, young guns coming in, and some of those guys are smashing it. They're doing amazing stuff. Teenagers who are absolutely rocking the grill, and because they're not frightened. I see they're not stuck into, oh, you must do it like this. They're actually going, well, hell yeah, let's go. I've learned a bit. Let's go. Let's see what this can do. And I like that sort of, that spirit that I see in those young guys. They're going to do amazing. I'm going to be irrelevant when they start getting older. They're going to be.
It's just it's a natural progression. People come in, they learn new stuff, and they do things in different ways. YouTube, don't get me wrong, it's still massive, but TikTok will take YouTube over in probably 2-3 years' time easily, just by its audience. People can't sit down and watch a 10-minute or 15-minute instructional video anymore. It's all 30 seconds a minute. They want begin, middle, finish in 30 seconds. This is how you make a sandwich. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. And that's what kids... I know it sounds bizarre to us because we're old, But if you look at what your kids are watching, how often do your kids sit down and watch a YouTube video?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, my kids, they watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and then they all also watch TikTok and other crap too. But I mean, there's only so much you can get done through TikTok, though, and you can't tell how to change a carburetor or something like in a TikTok video. So I mean, YouTube still has its point, and you can't tell. There's a whole bunch of TikTok cooking videos out that are basically 30 seconds of holy crap, try this out. And this is the most fantastic weird hack ever. And it is not a hack. And it's useless. And you're not telling anyone how to cook. You're telling them how to cook that specific thing.
Mm-hmm. But it's just a shift in outlook. It's not necessarily. I think YouTube it's like a library. It's a modern day library. People don't pick up books anymore. If you want to know something, you're either going to Google it or look it up on YouTube, right? That's yeah. But if you want to be entertained, you're probably not going to watch a 10-minute YouTube video. You might just switch around. A lot of people use Instagram now, and a lot of people use TikTok. And I'm sure there'll be other platforms coming out that'll be similar but different, For instance, that other, I can't even remember what it's called, the sort of what's that chat thing? You sent me a link for it. I can't even remember what it's called.
Oh,
me?
No, Charlie.
What is that called? I have not even checked in that the exclusive chat thing
but that's going to blow up and be massive because it's exclusive and it's what people want.
Clubhouse, is that it?
Yeah, I think. Is it called Clubhouse? Yeah, it is Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, Clubhouse.
Again, it's because it's sort of almost the unobtainable. Because it's limited.
You really need to stop eating that chili and cheese. That salsa and cheese. I've just been munching away here.
I don't know, man. I think people are still going to watch movies, and movies are an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and versus watching 30 seconds of TikTok thing. And they'd be you watch the 30 seconds of TikTok thing, and it's all right, I get it now. What am I going to do next?
You can see the shift though. You look at people like Malcolm Reed. They're running TikTok accounts and stuff like that. Those massive YouTubers. They're switched on and then moved across, so they know where it's at. They got people telling them what to do. So
I have 2 TikTok videos. I don't watch TikTok at all. I went in there and watched a couple of videos. I was like, oh no, but I threw up a
funny how it changes. So I mean, I was watching TikTok for quite a while, and I joined in, and it was just kids dancing, and then I saw over 6 months, a year, I saw it suddenly change, and then all the barbecue guys were in it, and suddenly it's gone boom.
Yeah,
it's like loud music, people dancing, doing hey, here's a hack. That's not a hack. That's people figuring stuff out. That's not unusual. But I have my 2 videos up there. And that equates to the 2 videos I actually watched on TikTok. Because I find it garbage. It's mindless junk.
It's just a different. I wouldn't say it's mindless junk. I'd just say it's a different way of people looking at stuff. How people consume the social media is changing. There's no 2 ways about it. It definitely is changing. It's you either keep up or get left behind.
What I do like about TikTok is a I think it's made people think of their social media as more fun. I think sometimes people get a bit serious about it, and actually TikTok has brought a bit of fun back into it. You look at Twitter. Twitter's gone through change, and it was getting pretty toxic, and it wasn't great. Twitter for quite a while. It wasn't good. But I'm starting to see a bit more fun come back into Twitter, and I think that's one of the good things TikTok has done is give a bit more of a sense of fun about what they do. And I see people suddenly being a bit more gay, fun with their barbecuing rather than taking it all seriously. I mean, you see Malcolm Reed, and what was it, the veggie burger thing he did? Probably wouldn't have done that before, but it was fun. It was, you know, making people think differently, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, I think
you say that he got the veggie burger. He went, "I'm not going to eat this," and just threw it away.
I've had some good veggie burgers.
Yeah, that is again, as you say, it's more of a fun thing.
Veggie burgers.
Right. So what I'm going to do now? We've got a set of questions called the Hot Fire Q round, Marcus. We generally run that before we wrap it up, and then open the pub club if you want to stick around for a few beers. Because
I'm going to shoot off. I'm knackered, mate. I want to see my wife. I haven't seen her all day, so I popped home for 5 minutes and straight back out. But
right. So we've got the Hot Fire Qs round. I'm going to run that now. Basically, it's sort of like I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you answer whatever comes into your head first. It's a relatively new thing, and then afterwards I'm going to ask you to add a question to it, because me and Matt have decided we're a bit lazy and we want guests to add questions because it makes life easier for us, basically. And you get some quite good ones. So we're just about to begin the Hot Fire Qs round now. So first question, here we go. You ready? Hot and fast or low and slow?
Fast.
Day or night?
What?
Day or night?
Day.
Beer or spirits?
Beer.
Lump or briquette?
Lump.
Pork or beef?
Beef.
Ribs, wet or dry?
Dry.
Shrimp or meat?
Meat.
Wrap it or let it ride?
Let it ride.
Burgers or hot dog?
Burgers.
Horse, yay or nay?
No.
Brisket or short ribs?
Brisket.
Favorite non-meat thing to grill?
Non-meat. Fish.
Okay, that's the end of this week. That's the end of this week's Hot Fire Qs round. Can you think of a question we can add in for next week?
Direct or indirect?
There we go. I'll add that one in, and that'll be in next week's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that little feature. Sometimes some of the questions are a bit sort of... The horse one seems to swerve a lot of people. That come from Olav from Norway. He's like, yeah, we eat horse over here. I'm like, cool. And it's like, and that one is most exotic meat. They eat whale over there as well, which is like wicked. I'm like, they say they just go down the shop.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried horse and I've had whale. No, not for me.
I've never tried either, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't eat it. It's quite.
Yeah. I think you got to try it. I mean, it's kind of like beef, but I'd rather have beef. It's fattier.
How can beef be fattier than whale? Whales are huge, great big fat things.
Oh no, beef fatty.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
whales. Whale was kind of like fishy beef for me.
Fishy beef. I've never had whale, to be honest with you. I love exotic foods, but I've never had whale, and I'd love to try it.
They just wander down the shop and buy it when it's in season. It's like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can.
I can't do that so much.
It'd be quite a weird thing to do. Can I have a pound of whale? Yeah, there you go. Boom. Off we go.
Some reindeer on the side.
Yeah, reindeer he eats as well.
I've had reindeer, yeah. My kids never forgave me when I told them.
And what do you have, Rudolph or the other ones?
Donna,
I think it was Donna or Blitzen, one of them. Yeah.
I'm singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer now. I'm trying to think of the other names in my head.
I mean, it's coming. I've had my first like my content. You know, you have to do content before, so I've had my first inquiry about creating Christmas content. So, yeah, people are thinking ahead. You know, normally it comes sort of August, September. People start thinking content for Christmas. You know, oh, can you cook a barbecue for us? Sort of. But yeah, that was a bit earlier this year. Everything's early.
Yeah, I suppose they want to get everything. Well, all depending on who you're doing it with and that sort of stuff, but supply chains and stuff. Anyway, Marcus, thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's awesome to have you here. You're welcome back anytime. You know, I consider you a friend of the show and also a friend. We speak a fair bit on and offline.
Yeah, good to chat with you again, Charlie. It's yeah.
Good to see you, buddy.
If you could tell all the good folk. Yeah, Charlie's got great questions. As soon as Matt dropped out, I thought Charlie's the man. He comes up with so many good questions in the chat all the time. He's like, yeah, he's a really he gets some really good questions going, and he just thinks them up like that.
You're a gentleman, both of you. Who's that Matt bloke who sits in there?
Oh, Matt, my buddy. He's the brains behind the outfit. I'm just the, as I said, I'm just the boozy mouthpiece.
You're the beauty, aren't you, Ryan? He's the brains. You're the beauty.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so Marcus, give us a run through on all of your social medias, where we can find you and how people can pick you up and even book a barbecue course. Do you have a website up and running for the school yet? Or anything
Yeah, definitely. So Country Wood Smoke pretty much everywhere except Twitter, and it didn't fit Country Wood Smoke, so I'm Devon Wood Smoke on Twitter. And UK, so countrywoodsmoke.com is my main website. I've got UK Barbecue Review and my barbecue school. So I probably tell people where that is because we're busy as we are. But if people do want to get in touch, it's UK Barbecue, so bbqschool.com, which is yeah. It was I was ahead of the game. I hoovered up a lot of UK barbecue years ago, knowing that it was good SEO. So UK Barbecue School one was what I picked up. So, yeah.
And then the 3 books. Do you want to mention like the titles of your 3 books and where, like, so people can find them on Amazon?
My latest is Skewered, and then the one from 2 years ago is Food and Fire, and then very well, Charlie, I've got 3 years ago that's an ebook only, and that's called Smoky in the Wood Pit, and that was my first fray into publishing. So it's a bit rough and ready, that one, but it's quite nice. It's like £2, so it's like a cup of coffee. There's some nice. Yeah, but that's for ebooks, you know, people who, you know.
Oh, I'm more of a picture guy. I'm dyslexic, so like me reading stuff, it just like jumps all over the page.
It's got lots of pictures in it as well, but you know, it's digital.
Yeah, wicked. So as I said, thanks for coming on, mate. If you want to stick around for a beer,
Thanks
please
for having
do.
me.
If not, run back to the missus and keep her happy because she deserves it.
Yeah. I haven't seen her all day. I'll pop back quickly in between. I'm back all day.
Whenever you want to come back on, please do. I dare say we'd be hitting you up before Christmas just to get on and find out about how to do all that sort of stuff, have a beer and all of that. Just because
always a pleasure chatting with you guys, so thank you. Thanks.
Hey, good chatting with you, Marcus.
Cheers, Charlie. Thank you, mate. Good to chat with you, buddy. Have a good day. Cheers, Ryan. Thank you.
Yep. See you, Marcus. Right. See you again soon. Stay safe and good luck with the future projects, mate. I'm rooting for you, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
I better start thinking about the next one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I'm pretty sure you must have a couple in the pipeline. You're popping ideas all over the place.
Cool. Cheers, mate. Take care.
Yeah. Ta-da. Bye-bye. Stay safe, yeah?
Bye.
Speak soon. What a fantastic interview.
He was a great guy. I really like this.
Yeah, so much, so informative and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to run that little ad thing, go and answer the door, open up the pub club, have a couple of beers and a chat, and then see who wants to jump in. I'll put a link in the chat, run that, and see who turns up on the other side.
I will be back in a second as well.
All right, the chat's coming in. Copy that.
Yeah, Marcus is a really good dude. Fascinating story. And I don't know. Cool guy to talk to.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, I was impressed.
He certainly knows his stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely true.
I'm going to run this, go and answer the door, and I'll see you in a little while. Well, about a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
All right.